Today we'll do things a little bit different, with a big plastic box filled with dowels. We're starting with an air drying clay from Fimo, so rip open the pack, use half, and it's time to knead and roll like an Italian plumber.
Mamma mia!
The fresh stuff goes on top of our plastic box, where I kneaded some more and shaped the edge by attaching small bits. Little did I know, I was already committing mistake number 2. I smoothed everything out with a bit of water. Next, we sculpt the texture. I use a small Warhammer coin to press a circle in the clay. The coin comes off again and then I turn that nice circle into a shitty one, thanks to my party skills. With a triangle ruler, I sculpt some more lines. The silicone brush helps to fix mistakes and smooth things out. To make handling easier, I put space on a turntable and focus on transitions and rivets. I use a pack of silica gel for rivets. These beads prevent moisture. Too bad, nothing here prevents disappointment. Just press the tiny beads into clay with tweezers.
So ein Mist!
Then another shitty circle in the middle, filled with an AI-like pattern. For the metal texture, I use a flat silicone brush, pressing it horizontally and vertically into the clay. Looks tedious, and it is, but still better than getting a star stolen by Boo in round 19. The clay needs some time to dry. Meanwhile, let's deal with the miniatures. Here's my top tip for you. The website called The Models Resource provides tons of ripped video game models you can 3D print for free. Everything we need is already here. First, I scaled the models properly with each other, using a brilliant size chart someone posted on Reddit. Then I loaded the models into Blender, since their poses didn't quite fit my vision. Mario is supposed to hold a hammer, so I separated his limbs from his body and manually filled the holes. Then I reattached the limbs at new angles, so Mario looks slightly down while holding his new hammer tightly. I also bent his legs, because he will be hunting down the other poor souls.
Hello!
Peach gets a light bulb. I position it near her and use a boolean function to carve it into the model. For Yoshi, I adjust the head and leg angles before giving him his own light bulb. Wario's mustache is an infinitely thin surface and can't be printed. So I selected the faces and extruded them backwards along the Y-axis. Attached his hands and light bulb and called it done. After adding those tedious supports, everything is sliced with Cheeto Box and sent to my printer, which gave us some beautiful prints, including 2 out of 4 light bulbs. Feels like I'm back in the game with this shitty RNG. But it's not a big deal, those will do. I washed the resin off the figures and cured them in the UV chamber for several minutes. They turned out great, and the bulbs fit nicely, but real bulbs aren't grey, right?
Yeah!
What you see here is blue stuff, a thermoplastic that softens with heat. It's often used to copy Warhammer bits when you're broke or mad at Games Workshop. We throw it into a pot and pour in boiling water. After a few minutes, grab a piece and wrap it around your original part. Yes, the water is still boiling and yes, it's freaking hot. Thankfully, years of playing Mario Party has numbed my fingers. As a brilliant German engineer, I of course screwed up again. Once it cooled, I had to get my original part out again, but the opening was much narrower than the model. Maybe the collapse of the German industry wasn't the choice, but simply fate. The mold cracked a bit, but you can easily reseal those with hot water. For the next ones, I laid the bulb sideways, so the opening would be wider. Now we need some epoxy resin, mixed at 100:32 ratio. Stir well and hold your breath. No color today, we want it transparent. The blue stuff molds go into a silicone mold as backup, in case things go wrong, which they never do. Using a pipette, I carefully fill the models with resin. This will take about 2 days to cure. I leave them in the sun to speed things up. Back to the base. It looks awful, and everything is brittle like hell. Crap! Let's see if you can fix it. But even so, it doesn't really match the original anymore.
Oh no!
First, I roughen up the plastic box surface with a sanding spot. Then apply a generous amount of superglue and press the base on. The edge is reassembled like a puzzle, piece by piece. Calling it repair is optimistic. It's more of a diplomatic negotiation with gravity and glue. I had to reattach every single silica bead too. Since it's halfway broken anyway, might as well try drilling holes into it. Come on, come on, yes! Let's drill a few more holes for the bulbs and a fence. We're still missing a fence, so I cut up some skewers into small pieces and glued them into the holes and to each other. Since this arena is already a wreck, let's make it look like Mario Party really feels. Emotional damage, intentional robbery, finger crabs and broken friendships. Remember my smart-ass remark about thermoplastics? Who would have thought that the 40-degree sun and the reacting epoxy resin would generate too much heat? The molds melted at the bottom. Hopefully something usable survived. Hey, that looks great! Very close to the original, just a bit cloudy. I'll show you later how to make them clear again. The other bulbs didn't turn out as well. Laying them sideways wasn't that smart. Oh well, who cares? I tried to cut down the sharp edges. It doesn't work. Luckily, I have wet sandpaper with a fine grit, a bit of water, and I smooth out all the sharp bulb edges. Looking good. Since I want them to actually light up, time to drill tiny holes. Please don't try this at home without properly securing your workpiece. There are tons of LED types. We need a small and very bright one, so I choose SMD LEDs. The little notch in the corner shows the anode, positive, the opposite side is a cathode, negative. With a fine soldering tip at 350 degrees, I solder two tiny wires and test them with a 12-volt battery. It lights up, looks awesome, and we'll take it. Added some shrinking tube to protect the wires and insert them into the bulbs. To finish the look, I prime the base of the bulb black, add gold, then darken it a bit and use the same gold to suggest a threading. But how do we make the bulb clear again? I just brush on a clear medium. But how does it work? Well, after sanding the resin bulbs, they turn cloudy. The rough surface scatters light. A coat of gloss varnish smooths it out again, and light passes through. Now they look clear again. Science, bitch! Time to paint one of the miniatures. This one is for you, Alex. Then I painted his skin in layers, starting with a dark green tone and mixing in lighter shades with each coat. It looks a bit wild, but I like it. I also added a few red accents for his backrest, stool and shoes, and yellow for his soles. Before touching up the imperfections with a little white. I started the eyes with a deep black, added a little blue and finished with two white dots to bring him to life. Fully painted, light bulb in hand, and still about as useful as he was on the roof of Mario 64. I primed the base off camera black first, then sprayed it white from above. Now for the base coat, pink for the edge, blue for the metal center, and purple for the fence pieces. Then we continue with the wash. The wash flows into all the recesses and brings out the texture. Takes a while to dry though, so in the meantime, let's paint Peach. Her dress is painted in various pink tones that look nice and bright thanks to the white undercoat. Her hair is done in layers like Yoshi's skin, starting with dark yellow and blending with very light yellow. Two coats for the skin, white for the gloves, then a gold tone for the jewelry and crown. I marked the jewel positions with black and filled them with red and blue dots. For the finishing touch, I broke out a good brush with a nice tip. A white dot on each gem makes them sparkle. And while we're at it, let's finish the eyes. Black for the lashes and pupils, then blue and the signature white dot. Pink lipstick as a finish. Superglue in, hold the bulb, and now you can see the reflections through it. She looks lovely, exactly the kind of player who will swap all your stars with Wario and chance time and pretend it was random. The washes have dried, so let's finish painting the base. First, the pink rim, load a bit of paint on a dry brush and build up lighter highlights step by step. Then, the blue center. And finally, the fence pieces. As a final touch, I grab a sponge and dab on very light colors in random patterns across the base. I fill the inner shapes with metallic paint. And it looks like a real bob-omb battlefield. I had one bulb left though. Why not smash it onto the base? When I want something intact, it breaks. And when I try to break something, it stays a hole. Welcome to MiniQuest 64. But hey, with some cutters it works. I glue the pieces around the edges and now it looks delightfully ragged. The base is done and now I can finally paint my favorite character, Wario. After priming him white, I start with the shoes. Once those are done, I can place him on the base and have room to reach the rest. The yellow parts are painted like Peach's hair, while the purple offers a great contrast. A few details complete the pants, built like a potato. The Mario Party Wario model has a white stripe on his cap. I never noticed that before. Then I have to paint his double Y logo 3 times, on both clothes and the cap. For the skin, I use Peach's color scheme, but add darker tones in the ear, chin, and eye sockets. Then the eyes. Intense, evil stare required before Mario knocks his lights out. Red for the mouth, black for the mustache, and I suggest a few teeth with fine lines. Finish it all off with the legendary pink alcoholic nose, a bit of crab brown for the hair, and the glorious bulb between his sausage fingers. Look at that face! Women want to be with him and men want to be him. We're almost done. I feed the SMD LED through the 3 holes, flip the base and solder all the positive and negative wires to a copper PCB. Add a battery holder and a switch. Quick test with a 9V battery. Lid on, press the switch. Nothing lights up. Why? Open it up and saw the battery case didn't even have a wire on the negative terminal. Of course it can't work. I soldered the switch to a simple connector instead. Screw the housing. Cut a hole in the base. Clamp the switch. German engineering at its finest. I paint Mario the same as in the last video, except this time his expression is a bit more unhinged. I use the sponge metal technique again on the hammer, so it matches the base. That hammer has smashed quite a few bulbs. Alright my friends, let's bring it all together. Many thanks to my Patreons and to all of you for watching. Let me know in the comments which game you want to see next. Bye!